Hi, this is John here from Vigier Guitars. We're at Namm 2017 with Ben from Vigier Guitars. How you doing, Ben?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Excellent, really well, really well.
Awesome.
Show us what's new with Vigier.
Okay, so most of the stuff you might have seen last year was the Rock Art series. These are now coming through in earnest. So you see we've got a fair few on the wall here showing off the individual aspects of them.
So can you tell us a bit more about these guitars? Because each one, the finish is completely unique, right?
That's right, yeah. So you can ask for a couple of different colours in there, up to four colours.
Yeah.
But everything is hand done by Patrice with the painting process. So each guitar is unique and is hand
And is this
done.
available on all the models or just a particular few? Or?
It's available across the range now on all the models as well. And some of the ones you see like this is also showing off the matte finish we do as well on them, which is new.
Nice. Sweet. So I think we've just secured this one potentially up here.
That's right.
So that is an Excalibur, which model?
Supra.
A Supra. Okay, cool. You know,
That's right, with the amber pickups in there as well.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. So the amber are the slightly lower, a little bit more vintage sounding.
That's right.
Over the
German
Damascios,
hand-wound pickups. You kind of have that Damascio pickups that's typically been in a lot of the guitars, which are good for one thing.
Yeah,
we found with the amber gives you just a whole different.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more tone for the lower gain stuff, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
So what you will notice on them actually, and if you actually look up at that guitar there, you'll see the new trick jacks that are now coming through on them as well. So these are locking jacks.
Is that standard on all the guitars now?
It's going to be coming through standard. We're updating the range as we go, so you'll see it more and more. The Supras, the Specials, Chaoses, some of the other models that have it, I believe, are the Sean Lanes and some of the Ultras as well. Now coming through, and you'll see it as the year goes on. It'll probably be coming across the whole range,
models,
especially as stock comes through. Anything that's new.
So tell us a little bit more about kind of how many guitars Vigier make a year and what goes into kind of making their guitars. I mean, I'm not asking for exact numbers, of course, but I don't think people realise how small kind of, and I don't mean that in a bad way, how cool, and boutique that they are,
And I think it's a really important question, actually. We make about 350 guitars, and it is only a small team. Patrice and a few other luthiers that he have. Going into building the guitars, it's all handcrafted, so the reason it does take so long is the fact that you're not going to have a guitar whiz through production. You're actually going to have this small team of luthiers who are going to go through, spend a lot of time to get everything right. When we're talking about the finish here, Patrice is the only one that does the Rock Art series as well. So although some of the other luthiers might do some of the finishing you see here,
it's only
the Rock Arts are just Patrice, which kind of gives it that extra little bit
special. Yeah, so if you invest the money into one of the slightly more expensive guitars like this, you've got that the element that you're buying it from the man himself. Tell us a little bit more about kind of the stuff that Patrice has kind of pioneered, like with the what he does with about the truss rods and stuff, and the zero fret, etc.
That's right. So Patrice now, he's been.
I'm really putting him on the spot now. Make sure he's done his homework. Come on.
I know this stuff really off the top of my head. So Patrice really has been want to try and create something that's really innovative, up to date, but also classic at the same time. And it comes back from when he first really wanted his guitar. He got the guitar of his dreams, as most lads do, being a very popular named guitar.
Of course.
Got it back home and suddenly finding this isn't right, and
dead spots on the neck, and
that got him into going. Now through his family and through things, came about 30 years ago. You had a carbon fibre becoming a new stuff. Making aircraft, making Formula One cars and everything.
Really lightweight but really solid.
Absolutely. So he started working around. His first couple of necks, in fact we've got one I'll show you a little bit later, is all carbon fibre, which is really good. There's no dead spots, etc. But it didn't have the wood there, and something was missing with the tone. So he set us aside looking for this, and he came up with what we use as a 1090 system. So it's 10% carbon fibre, 90% wood. So you have all the tone, sustain, and the individuality in each guitar from the wood that you would, guitarists love. But you have
it's just super stable, isn't it, as well? I remember seeing there was a video or something like that where he was in, I've probably got it completely wrong, but he was in like India one day and then in Iceland the next or something like that, and there was just no movement at all, in the next.
We did a torture test actually. Our US manager DJ where he took the guitar into a sauna, had it in sauna for 8
very
hours,
different humidity levels.
went straight into a freezer, and actually burnt the neck as well. Put it in one of those roasting ovens. Each time, then put the strings on, measured it, and no movement.
Exactly the same. Yeah.
And that's one thing people don't realise is that, as well as the fact there's no dead spots, it's a lot lighter because you've got nothing. It's the actual stability of it is unbelievable. So really, it's when you have a guitar and things go wrong. I know everyone likes to tinker, but there's certain things that you just want to get and play it. And that's the whole kind of thing behind it. So some of the other things you'll see on here, we've got a 0 fret. In fact, this 0 fret is now segmented, so it's in individual pieces.
Is that for different string gauges or different heights? Or
with a 0 fret, it's always in use. So imagine if you were playing the same string, the same fret, it's going to wear. Some people would wear
of course,
2 years. Yeah. Some people might play for 9-10 years and it wouldn't wear.
And is this something that you can easily install yourself?
Do you know what? I actually got my niece when she was about 8 years old at a show. She's no technical ability.
No.
And get your fingernail or get a small knife or a standing blade or that. Just flick it out and you put another one in. It's got the tang to do it in. It's very simple. You do not have to be a tech. It is, it's easy to do. So, and this means, say you do get a little bit of wear, you can pop them out. And the reason for having them segmented, some strings might wear more than others.
Of course,
and it's very cheap. I mean, just a few pounds is just all it, £2 or £3. And that gets you a new one. You pop it in. If your G part, you don't,
No, you don't have to buy a whole new set each time.
You also might see, while we're looking up at the headstock here, we've got a dampener as well. These are removable. The dampeners stop any noise behind the headstocks. You might get ping or any sound
like you're doing
that.
Like legato sort of styles, and so you don't use like one of those fret wraps.
Fret wraps, that's exactly right as well.
Okay.
And finally,
I won't ever need one of them. Not my dodgy blues.
The final thing up here you'll see is the flex retainers. Now what they do is anywhere you've got friction on a guitar is going to give you tuning problems, whether it's at the bridge, at the nut or anything. And a string tree obviously is helping it's just acting as a guide, but when the string moves underneath, when you're using a trem or if you're bending, it can catch, giving you sound, giving you tuning issues. Flex retainer actually moves. I don't know if you can see this.
See that,
just see that little bit of movement. And that means the string glides with this underneath there. Again, it's really easy to take out and replace really easy to replace, really simple. The whole thing about these are some of the people look at this and go, wow, that's really different. They're all something that if you do ever want to adjust or do it.
And I've noticed, the name's been, spreading more and more all the time, and we find it harder to get guitars from you now rather than sell them, which is cool. That's all fine.
It's a good position, I say, to be in. It's
better to keep it like how they're doing it.
Exactly.
Keep the quality there and just keep the demand there rather than going under pressure.
This is one thing. This is one thing where, as people say with it, they won't actually up their build. And if it takes 6-8 months or whatever to build, that's because they're keeping the quality. They won't rush them, and that's why it will be in demand, and you're never going to see them saturated. I mean, there's one side of it, say, it's lovely to see the guitars everywhere, but there's a bit of mystique and a bit of something special about them, which going on to the rock arts, that's why there are so few of them, and that makes them even more special.
They're all so cool, aren't they? So I guess no two are ever the same, and no dealers have got the same guitars. It's all completely unique to each one. So I noticed we're seeing a lot more of like the GV rock styles guitars and the GB woods that you're making now as well.
The GV's actually been a really big thing for us. It's been obviously the first single cut, and it gives a whole new thing. Patrice, first off, he was known obviously for the Excalibur range, 24 frets, very
high-end
in the
rock
early days,
style, super strat styles.
Had so many players sort of saying, I really love what you're doing, the 1090 and everything, but I play a different style, and you kind of alienated in the past.
Of course,
So he's now moved on. In fact, this guitar has now won more awards for us and become more known for the company. A lot of people.
And what he's done with the fretboard on this model, I always forget it's Pheno.
A phenolic resin Pheno wood, So what that is, you take the wood is actually ground down into a pulp, and then it's injected with a phenolic resin, and then set. So actually, in tone-wise,
it still has the same tone, but
it's really hard. So you have other woods like ebony, which is a lovely wood, but it moves over time.
Again,
not any stability.
Again with that, there's no dead spots on the neck, and
again, it goes to that absolute. Anything where there's a problem, and I mean, ebony's a lovely wood, but it had these issues, and this was our answer. In in fact, at the moment, one of the big things at the moment with the issues we're seeing with Rosewoods and everything.
Issues.
You see, Patrice, even before this happened, have been looking for other alternatives as well.
Of course,
so the Phenowood fingerboard is used on some of our basses. You might see it as well here. To me, the Phenowood sounds. It's got a little bit more of the properties or feel of a maple because it's quite hard. Everything like that.
It's got like a hardwood like maple or ebony. Yeah,
that's right.
It's got a bit more snap to it. Yeah, so I guess you get a lot of clarity when you're using lots of distortion and stuff as well. And all these models are fitted out with Damazios, are they?
No, these are amber again.
Oh yeah, that's right.
On these amber, we have got one model, the GV, that does have Damazios in as well. In the range. With these as well, you see everything's proprietary bridge system, which is locking, so everything on here locks. So when you set this guitar up, you're not changing anything but your strings, and you keep the same string gauge. You don't have to worry about the bridge falling off.
So if you take all the strings off, it's all going to stay there.
Everything stays there. Again, with all the guitars, they have locking machine heads that are oversized. Two things for the oversized machine heads as well. They're adding a bit more sustain because you're adding mass to the headstock as well, which is, I mean, as well as being a practical thing for restringing and ease of use, they're actually there.
Adds a bit more, and it adds a bit of nice balance to the guitar as well.
That's right. You'll also see that we use stainless steel frets on all the guitars as well.
Okay.
It makes bending feel very easy.
Great.
And everything.
They are really nice. We've seen it on a few of the other brands that we deal with, and I think once people start out with stainless, it's hard to go back to old nickel frets, isn't it, as well?
It is.
Cool.
It is.
Okay, sweet. Well, I think we've got everything all summed up there. Good to see you, Ben. Enjoy the rest of your Namm show. Cool.